Hi. Oh, let me cover before people see my ash. Okay, guys, welcome back to BMS Podcast. It is your host, Odoayo. If you don't know, it is Bamisoro. That's what BMS stands for. And we're back. What's been happening since the last time we recorded, which was 30 minutes ago? um, these are just a few of the things that I've wanted to talk about. Um, my editor has left me. So, so really and truly, like I am a one man. I have an assistant though. I'm a one man army right now, so I'm trying to pace myself while also trying to do as much videos at once, so I can record. I can edit them over time. So, the topic of today, actually, I'm going to be talking about adolescence. I'm pretty sure most people have seen it by now. It had like, I think it broke Netflix history or something in terms of like viewed um, movies or whatnot or limited series. So I guess I wanted to start from the beginning, right? Or even some from the reviews for people are talking about online. Some people are saying stuff like, "Oh, there was no twist," or "There was no like they wish there was some sort of twist in the end." Like this is not a regular British whodunit kind of series. It is supposed to be informative. It is supposed to drive change, and it has already started driving change. So, if you haven't seen it, I'll probably put a timestamp where you can skip to, so I don't spoil it for you. So I'll put a timestamp where you can skip to where I stop talking about this in particular. So it starts off with Eddie. Sorry, not Eddie. Jamie getting arrested, right? And you see this very tiny little 13-year-old boy, and you're thinking like, what could he have possibly done, right? And I feel like one of the things that really caught my attention was how his father was moving. I guess because they shot the whole scene, and I guess they focused on his father in the whole most of this episode. His dad was basically obviously Jamie requested for his dad as his I think adult person, and I feel like for the most part it was almost as if he was trying to manage his dad's emotions. Like when they pulled him in for questioning and they asked him to do like the strip search, you can tell like his dad was popping off like in front of him, like, oh, that's my son. And it's like, I feel like as an adult, you should know when your situation or when you can do something about something or when you can prevent escalation. And I feel like from that moment, you could tell that Jamie's dad was not very good at managing his own emotions or calming himself down. And then obviously he goes in, he's talking about he didn't do anything, and they're all still trying to figure out, gather enough evidence until they actually showed the video where you could see that he actually did what they accused him of. And well, they had already showed you the video from the first episode, right? And I think what this series focuses on is more about the why, not the what he did, because what he did was already evident. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of families across cultures, they tend to focus on raising their daughters rather than their boys. They essentially emotionally neglect their boys and they just expect them to grow up or let society teach them how to be men. And I feel like a lot of times people talk about girls having daddy issues, or you have, or this is fatherless behavior, and it's always targeted towards women. But I don't know anybody in this world that has not experienced some level of tantrum from men, because men tend to equate emotional expression with anger, and a lot of this can stem from them essentially not having enough guidance on how to process their emotions. And this has actually gone through generations of people. Um, so I think in the second episode, uh, you had the teachers. You could tell how a lot of them very rarely paid attention to their students. You had teachers coming in and out, had students, cursing at teachers, the rowdiness of secondary school. It was obvious there. And how they, even if they had adults looking out for them, they all had their own language. They all had like separate, they're talking about emojis meaning something. I'm like, when did they change the meaning of regular emojis? Because I was very confused. And so I think that's what caught my attention in that episode. I'd say episode 3 was when he was having conversations with the psychologist. And from that episode, you could tell how men, even though they have, well, society would say they have less emotional maturity, but then you learn how from very early on they learn to like condition their um themselves, or learn some level of emotional manipulation, right? From then you could tell Jamie, he mentioned that because this girl had been exposed, basically her confidence has been knocked down. He felt like he could have access to her. It's like now, yeah, maybe I didn't care about you before, but now that everybody's against you and the whole world's against you, I have an in, I have a way to get to you. And the fact that she now rejected him on top of that is, it's like even harder bruise to his ego, right? Because it's like normally he's expected that a lot of women are not attracted to him, which he doesn't look like a bad looking young boy, like for whatever 13-year-old girl should or would be attracted to him. But the fact that she now has rejected him, and then from previous the season before, you could tell he's also dealing with, or he's also experienced his father as somebody that couldn't manage his emotions. That's another time where he popped off. The fact that he even took a knife to go meet her because she rejected him before is even more proof that he's like, he wanted to scare her into either liking him or into some form of submission. And with the whole aggression that he was showing the psychologist, at the bottom of it all, you could see that he really just wanted to feel validated. He wanted to feel like somebody liked him. He wanted to feel like he was attractive. And society, a lot of times, they speak on, women and, telling your daughters that they're beautiful and all that stuff, trying to build your daughter's confidence. So she doesn't, one small boy will not, especially men, they're like, I want to take my daughter on holiday so that one small boy will not be making her feel like, one small Dubai trip is something, and then she loses her confidence because of that. But then we tend to forget that boys also need to be spoken, like you need to speak life into them as well. You need to tell them that they're attractive, that they're handsome, they're good looking. You also need to make them feel confident in whatever it is they decide to do, because I think in between season 1 and episode 1 and 2, they were talking about how his dad would take him to football, right? And every time he wouldn't score or something, his father wouldn't even look at him. Like he just felt ashamed, right? Like he was ashamed of him. So of all the places, of all the times his father could have validated him, he did not. So as I feel like with anybody else, if you feel like your parents are ashamed of you, naturally you'd feel some type of way about that, or like it would knock your confidence and it would affect how you think everybody else would view you. Because if my own dad doesn't think I'm attractive, or doesn't not attractive, if my own dad is not even proud of me, or doesn't want to be seen with me, or doesn't want to look me in the eye, like is so dismissive of me when I do something wrong, how then can I show up appropriately in the world? So then there's that. And then also how he was being aggressive with the lady that was talking to him, kept asking her, oh, do you like me? And even the way he kept popping off to her, like the violence bursts, and then he would calm down, and how scared she was even though he was just a 13-year-old boy. It's like, obviously, kids are supposed to be innocent and sweet and everything. But then I think in episode 4, they talk more about how he essentially became what he became, because they said they got him a computer and they would just leave him in his room and whatnot. Ah. Okay, that light should not be on. Even if it'll affect the video now. They essentially would leave him in his room by himself. And I think, like I was saying, across generations, they tend to focus on where the daughter is or where the girl is going, who she's talking to, who her friends are. And they forget to monitor their boys just the same, picking their brains, seeing what they're up to, you know, who they're friends with, what they think about life, and just teaching them how to be men. And also, we need to remember that his father worked a lot, right? And I think this is where I want to focus more on men, because a lot of men think when they have kids, they always think about what they want to buy for their kids, how they can provide, protect them from dangers and stuff like that, which makes sense, right? Society has always said men should provide and protect. But then I feel like as a whole, we sort of neglect how important a father's presence is, right? Because it's one thing for you to, this is facing me too much. It's one thing for you to provide and protect for your kids, but then if they don't even know, one, because the way I see it is, yeah, you can become a millionaire before you have children and your kids are born into wealth and all that stuff. But if they see you working hard to become something, to become a millionaire, it's even more impactful, because not only have they watched you work so hard, you've also been able to impact instill the values of hard work in them. They've seen how you did it, not just that you did it. They've also, I guess, in a way, been part of the process. And if anything, that's probably more impactful than just showing up with money. Just them seeing you either build a business or run multiple companies, or just seeing your grass to grace story. I think it's more impactful for young boys to be able to watch their fathers do that. But in the last episode, where it was his father's birthday and he had the call and everything, and before that, actually, they were supposed to be going to the store. No, he had the paint thrown on him on his car, and he had to go look that out, check on it and make sure that, you know, it was removable, trying to remove it. It was a regular day, whatever. It was his birthday. They were having breakfast and everything. So that happens. And you could tell he was agitated, and the only thing he wanted to was clean up the van, right? But then I was even scared for them because of how he was moving. Let's just clean up the van. Let's just clean up the van. I was thinking like this man could actually drive his family off the cliff because he's ready to end it all. Like, I was actually scared for them. And then the fact that even though his wife and his daughter didn't want to go, they just did whatever they could to manage his own emotions. It's like, at the end of the day, it's fair enough, it's his van, but this situation is happening to all of them as a family. I guess he's taking it more personal because he's like, oh, I failed as a father. But the mom also has feelings of like, I spent the most time with him. I should have known something. Everybody has emotions surrounding that. But it's like everybody else was coddling this man, coddling his own emotions, trying to make sure that he doesn't pop off. And then he goes into the store, trying to be or act as a man, trying to suppress his emotions. He finds a way to evade them, telling them to go do their own shopping elsewhere so he can do his own shopping. And obviously encounters this guy that riles him up. And then he obviously had reasons to be upset, but then he lashed out again, right? As he did like in other moments of the limited series. And I think if that's the example that he's been showing his son of how to deal with emotions, it's no wonder that the boy is like that. Because if you've seen your dad hide from you when he's feeling emotional, also when he was in the locker room and he told the other man, he was like, oh, I'm scared, like I don't know what to do. That is something that he could have told Jamie, like, I'm actually scared, like show him that he was scared. But he went away from his son to express his emotions somewhere else, essentially showing his son that you don't show when you're hurt. Like you cannot be vulnerable. right? He was okay being vulnerable in front of another man that would understand the situations, but not his son. So it's like at different moments he failed to express his emotions or manage his emotions in front of his son. So that's something that he could possibly have picked up from his father on which not even possibly he would have, because naturally boys tend to idolize their fathers. Like it doesn't even matter how rich or poor you are, if you're present in your son's life, you're your son's hero. Like even daughters as well. If you, especially if you whether or not you even love them, like naturally you want to be close to your parents. Like you want to feel their love, you want to feel connected to them, and you want them to feel proud of you. So him just dismissing or just not showing his emotions in front of his son is just as bad as him like being absent, because it's like your presence is still not felt. Like you might be there physically, but if you cannot show up as your full self and express your emotions like as a whole, then you're not there. You're basically absent. So when it comes to my thoughts on society as a whole, I feel like naturally we should stop um, rewarding toxic masculinity. Like there are women that would see men that don't take care of their kids and just continue to encourage them, or just like continue to give them access to them. If a guy approaches me and he tells me he has kids, I would ask more question about the well-being of his kids than about him, because I feel like in relation to like him knowing his kids would tell me everything I need to know about him, like how he relates to his kids, how he takes care of them, if he takes them out, if he makes time for them. That's how I would actually know. Like normally, or to be honest, I'm not gonna date a guy with kids. Whether he tells me the most beautiful story about his kids or not, I won't date a guy with kids. But the moment you tell me as a guy that you have kids, I would press you about your kids, your mother of your kids, how you're being with them. Like, and if that's the case, if you're a good father, basically, we can be friends. But if you're not, don't talk to me. I don't want to know you. I don't want to be seen with you. Like, no. So I feel like as a society, like we need to start calling out men more and how they relate to their children. Um, yeah, I feel like as much as my brothers are annoying as hell, like all of them that are fathers are um in their kids' lives, and as much as that's a different topic entirely. But with my brothers, I always tend to like try and give them or express to them how I think their son is feeling, so they can try to see things from their perspective or of whatever their young mind is feeling. And I think I was going to say as well, um, I feel like as a community we should also be speaking more into our young boys. I feel like sometimes boys grow up without their fathers for whatever the circumstances, even though it's not the choice of their dad. And I feel like no young boy should ever be without a male figure in their lives. No family, to be honest. I feel like men that whether or not you have kids or not, like you can still show up for the boys that you're coaching, like the boys that are in your community, nieces, nephews, um, just any way that you can impact or speak life into a young boy as a man, I think is something that is very noble to do. I feel like as a community, we really need to be looking out for our boys. Yeah, I think we should just basically be focused on trying to improve the self-worth of the boys around us, and just pay as much attention to them as we do to the girls. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say on that topic. Okay, the second topic that I wanted to talk about was the parentification of young kids. Um, so who actually told African parents that kids are insurance policies? Like since when did we as a society, actually it's been forever. But I just feel like the black tax that's being brought up onto the young kids that are growing up, the parentification of young kids, like why would a 10-year-old be taking or bathing their younger sibling? Why would you have to be contributing for bills? Like when you're getting your first job? And why would you have to be, as a young adult, paying to support your family? Like, why? Why is that the case? I feel like if you have kids, naturally you should want to support them. And if you cannot support them, it's not a thing of entitlement to their money, because you had the kids, right? You should be able to support them. Personally, I feel till they die. Like, you should be able to support the kids that you brought into this world as a parent. Now, I understand circumstances may not allow you to do that, but then it's not for you to now emotionally blackmail your child into supporting your own financial decisions. So, a couple weeks back, Asake's dad demanded, not asked though, not begged, demanded 50 million naira from Asake. That's like, what, $40,000, pounds-ish? Money that you did not work for, that you've probably not earned in your entire life. Because your son is doing well, you think it's okay for you to call him up and ask him to send you money. I feel like for people that actually do become successful, if you're friends with somebody that's successful, or your sibling to them, or even a parent, it's not for you to now treat them as your personal bank account. Asake is somebody that is successful within his own right. Yes, he's built his wealth, but he's also a business, right? A business needs investments, and because he's holding the cash now, it makes more sense for him to invest in himself. We also talk about how artists, they come later in their life after they squandered all their money to be begging for treatment for their health, or just be living a lot less than what they did when they were popping. The music business is a very volatile business. Today they might be feeling Asake, tomorrow they might not. That money that he's having now could be what could last him his entire life. Naturally, he should be investing his money. He should be putting his money back into his business. He should be trying to grow and also setting his own future up, so he's not going to be begging his own son too for 15 million and actually have money to take care of his kids. I feel like it's absolutely ridiculous. His dad actually married, was it a second or third wife? You don't get money, you then marry extra wife. Like, is this not madness? You actually don't have money, but you have another wife, and now you're asking for money, not for a business, but they said to build a house so you can be collecting rents. Even that, like, I'm still very confused. So if Papa by now, who will inherit the house? Your wife? Because is she Ashake's wife? Like, you as a man are supposed to be providing for your family. Now, it's bad enough that you didn't. You married another wife. Why are you now demanding money from your son? Like, I thought, even in the Bible, Nigerians are very religious, right? In the Bible, in the Quran, it speaks about leaving something for your children as a man. So even as a parent in general, you should be leaving something for your kids, not the other way around. And if you've managed to get your son, I can even understand child star parents, right? Because, you probably had to leave your own career to manage your child's career. So I understand that in a sense. But I feel like if you're related to somebody that's successful, the best thing you can do is to find a job in their camp. See how Burna Boy's mom is sort of his manager and she goes around on tour with him. Of course, she's going to be getting money. If he wants to give her something out of his earnings, fair enough. But because she's positioned herself to actually support him, it makes sense that, she's getting money off of him. I think there are other people too, like Davido's sister, Nico's living or cousin or whatever. I didn't know her before, but I've seen her around with Davido. I know that she's Davido's cousin. Now, she can ask Davido for money, fine, he'll give her. But then don't forget, she's also building something for herself. And I feel like that's the best kind of family member or whatever you should be. It's like, if you've seen that your friend, your family member or somebody has money or they've made it in life, now you have you have an opportunity. You can get them to introduce you to people that can get your career or whatever it is that you're doing further. It's not for you to now say that, okay, well, we've made it. It's not we. Because when they were grinding there, where were you? Even if you supported them, it is still their dream. It is still their money. It's not yours. So you need to find out what works for you like how you can make money of your own. And the only good thing is that you now have somebody that has access, that has probably connections, that probably has funding for whatever it is that you actually want to do. But it's not for you to now relax and think that you found your own personal like bank accounts. Like, it's so unfair. Let's even leave Asake alone. Regular children, like born into large families. I have a friend that has 14 siblings. And the parents cannot afford to take care of their kids. Why have more? Why have more? Like, if you know you can't take care of your kids, why do you keep having more kids? It does not make any sense whatsoever. And now the kids get older, the older siblings is now having to be the breadwinner, or whoever makes it first is now having to be the breadwinner, which means that they can rarely ever become as successful as they could possibly be. Because before, okay, let's say I'm earning however much I'm earning now. If I'm giving out every single money that I have, as soon as it's coming in, there's no savings, there's no investments, there's no retirement fund. How am I supposed to survive? How am I supposed to have my own wants, my own needs, my own, what's it called? It's draining. It's really draining. I feel like they tend to use that emotional manipulation to sort of draw you in and make you feel guilty, make you feel like survival's guilt. I think that's what they call it. Make you feel like, oh, because you've made it now, you've forgotten everybody. I made it, you to make it. If it easy run now, it's only me that can make it. What were you doing when I was making it? It's so unfair. Like, run now. Ashake's dad was a singer too. Why you no blow? You finally have one successful person in your family, you want to drag them down. Because Asake has released 3 albums now, we're feeling Asake, but there's so much competition in the music business. There's so much competition. Yes, there's money to be made. And I feel like this also brings me back to when Ashake's manager was talking about how Asake cancelled show because he was tired. And let's be honest, Ashake's first few shows, you could feel the energy. Like, he was really trying to prove a point. And it's like, yes, it makes sense. He's a new artist. But then you could tell he was doing shows back to back to back to back. He released, I think, 3 albums within the first 3 years he was out. Who's done that? Like, who has actually like released that many albums within a period of time? Like, it's not done. It's not something that you hear of. But this guy was grinding, and he was actually doing shows, like multiple shows all the time. And people underestimate how much it takes a toll on the body, because even me to sit down in front of the camera and record every other, I'm tired. I don't have the energy. Yeah. So the manager now started complaining about how Asake was not doing shows, how he was missing out on millions. But it really does take a toll. Like, every other night, you're going to sing in front of millions of people, having to act happy and like excited. Like, your emotions, whatever, it wouldn't matter in that moment. You're now, not only are you trying to give energy, you're also jumping up and down, like just jumping. You know, Asake has moves. Like, he's trying to do dances. He's joining his dances, not just like singing or just trying to be absent. Or he's actually like bringing on the entertainment. And I feel like a lot of the time people don't realize how taxing it can be on your mental and your physical health. And I think they also started saying how compared to his first and second shows in London, how there was less energy. And if it's even obvious to the fans and he knows that he's not putting on a good show, it makes sense that he wants to take time to rest. But even the manager was like, oh, he did something, like he was acting like he betrayed him or something like that. Do you want to kill the boy? Shefek Pomola money. He said he's tired. Like, he's actually tired of doing all these shows back to back. It's only right that he actually allows himself to rest. He cannot say because somebody's demanding 50 million from him, he should not be jumping every day like a monkey. Like, I beg. It's like, we need to realize that as much as these people blow up and they make money, they're actually human beings as well. And they should be allowed the same level of rest and the same level of like stability as everybody else. And also, they should be allowed to decide what to do with their own money. Yeah. Because if they now open GoFundMe when he's like what 45, people will be the first people to say, oh, what they start talking about. Oh, where was your money when you were wearing Balenciaga? You're rapping about this. You're rapping about all the designers that you had. Where did you finish? How did your money go? You can see how their money goes now. You can actually see, because the fact that he even brought it to the internet, he was trying to blackmail him, like to send money to him. And if it's me, you've come to me, or no, actually, you've come to the internet to tell people that, or to demand something from me. Wallah, you not get it. You want 50 million, you're coming to try to blackmail me. I feel like that's one thing that I would never ever like give into, because it's not even the fact that you want something from me. Whether or not I wanted to give you before doesn't even matter. But the fact that you try to blackmail it out of me, oh, you're not getting it though. You're never going to get it. At least not from me. So I just feel like it's very terrible that he's come out and tried to, like, the same name that he's using to make money. You're demanding money, and you're also trying to throw dirt on that name while you're demanding money from him. Like, I feel like that was such a stupid thing to do from his dad. And then the other people that are also saying, oh, whether he did for you or he did not do, he's still your biological father. So, because person knack 30 years ago, they have right to collect 50 million from me. Are you people crazy? Because he had sex. Like, they're saying whether or not, can you hear the statements? Whether or I say, Jesus, my H factor. They said whether or not he was a good dad to you, he can still demand money. Is that not madness? Is that not madness? Like, all a man has to do to get benefits from his child is to knack. It's to knack. Say you knack 30 years ago. Now you are calling to ask me for 50 million. Everybody is mad. They're all mad. It's just, I feel like us as black kids, yeah, we really need to protect ourselves, our finances, and you really need to have boundaries in place as well, because if they've always said the saying that nobody's coming to save you, you cannot be the savior for everybody else. Yes, you can assist people, but make sure you're assisting them to better themselves, and not just, trying to provide stupid things for them, or trying to make anybody making you the ATM. No, like, protect your peace, protect your finances, build your own future, because the fact that you keep giving people, or you keep becoming financially responsible when you're not even a parent yet, that is you robbing yourself of things that you could possibly do. If it's not within your power, like, comfortably, while also taking care of your own financial needs and your own financial future, you should not be giving money out to people just willy-nilly. You should be careful of how you give money to people, where you put your money, and how you make your money work for you, because at the end of the day, you're not trying to work for the rest of your life as well. If they really need, like, be teaching them how to fish. Don't just be handing fishes to people. Like, you need to really protect yourself, because at the end of the day, if they cannot even save themselves, if you crash, they can't save you. And if you die, they will live. They will live on. They will live comfortably even. So the best thing for you to do as somebody that's successful, or somebody that, has amassed whatever fame, wealth, whatever it is, if they're coming to you for assistance, it should not just be financial assistance. It should be, oh, I want to make money for myself, teach me, that kind of thing. Fair enough. If we're now all making money, that's progress. That's like us building something. But if it's just one person that's making money and everybody is just leeching off of them, even Toya, I can't remember her last name, but she's Regine Carter's mother, Lil Wayne's ex-partner. There was an episode where she was talking about how drained she was, because she keeps trying to help everybody else. She keeps trying to, provide for everybody else. And I feel like that's not a burden that should be on anybody at all.
That's the saddest part of the whole thing, because the parent don't actually realize how it deeply affects the children. like mentally, emotionally, the constant pressure, the guilt, the
Exactly.
responsibility, the thoughts,
Exactly.
the
The guilt, the
anxiety,
resp-
the
yeah,
stress, and all of
exactly.
that.
All of the
So,
stress that comes with
and
like,
the fear of disappointing them, of saying no, like it's just a lot.
yeah, it's really crazy. And the parents, they never understand or appreciate it. And it's like they talk about, oh, I suffered for you, I suffered for you. You're now already suffering for your parents. Like the same suffer that you suffered for them, they are now already suffering for you. Meanwhile, they did not choose to have children. Now you choose them.
Literally.
So so if you chose to have children, why am I now paying the bills for the household that you chose to have children
I think
in?
that's the sad bit of it because they don't know how it's emotionally
Yeah,
affects them.
it's like you're supposed to be thinking about your career, like how you can what you can get into, how you can focus on like your future, and meanwhile you're not having to worry about paying bills
Other people's.
or like your parents' financial. Personally, I don't believe that any child should have as much as much of an understanding of their parents' financial difficulties. I feel like you should get it together for your kids. And if you're even going to let them know or let it be their choice, it should always be
Their choice.
the kid's choice to help out a parent financially.
It should not be a must.
Yeah, it shouldn't be forced on them. You shouldn't be guilt tripping them, because at the end of the day, they're kids. They're supposed to be whatever your childhood years, your teenage years, you're never gonna get them back. Like the life you should be living, the fun you should be having, the developments that you should be. It's just people just get when you put that level of burden on a child, they just grow up too fast and they just never have a childhood, and it's so unfair to them because at the end of the day they did not ask to be here. So if you're a parent, you should be focusing on building your financial situation so that you don't have to depend on your child. And as much as a lot of parents say, oh, you don't understand, yes, there are parents that actually go through difficult times, but then there are also parents that are very, very careless with their spending. Like they're very, you have kids, you have priorities. Meanwhile, you're focusing on designer bags. You're focusing on trips. You know that your kids need whatever it is that they need. You're doing hair, nails. As a why? Like, if you can't take care of your child, you failed as a parent. Now, if your child now offers to give you money, fair enough, but then you should not be demanding funds from your kids. Like I can quote places in the Bible and in the Quran where it actually says that you should be leaving stuff for your kids. You're supposed to be your children's responsibilities, not the other way around. There's no reason why like young kids should grow up. Like I tell my oldest brother all the time, your son did not ask to be the firstborn. He's the child as he is. When he was 7, when he was 8, he's still an 8-year-old boy. He's not the father of his younger siblings. He should not be asked to, oh, go and make sure his younger brother is behaving. He should also be looked after as well. He shouldn't, the responsibility of looking after his younger siblings should not be on him, regardless of the age that he's in. If you've chosen to have a kid, and especially those parents that, oh, maybe their children are like 4 years old now or 5 years old, they're like, okay, I have somebody to help me take care of the younger siblings I'm about to give them. No, there's no reason why your 5-year-old should be the one looking after the baby, or you like. There's no reason why the older one should be looking after the younger ones. They're children on their own. If you do not have the younger siblings, you will still have to look after the 10-year-old or whatever year old kid. Because they're the first child doesn't mean that the responsibility of parenthood now falls onto them. And you see it especially with daughters, but with boys as well. Like they start to become the parents in the household, and it's just so unfair. I want to play in the fucking sand, and now I'm having to look for diapers or bathe younger siblings, or having to be blamed for their younger siblings' attitude or character development. Like, how can you tell your older child, still your child, that did I not tell you to not allow him do this? That's your job. That's your job. That's your responsibility. And it's bad enough that you're not there to be responsible for your older siblings. Now you're taking it out on another child that you gave birth to, that they're not asked to be here. That's your responsibility. Whatever kids you have or whatever ages, they're still your responsibility. Doesn't matter if you had an older one before. That's still your child. The older child is still your child as much as the younger siblings, and they need your support. They need your care. Like I've been told one of my nephews, they said, oh, he's so mean, he's so this, he's so that. If you keep yelling at him for things that he didn't even do, what do you think? He's going to be mirroring the way you treat him. He's going to be treating you just exactly the way you treat him. And it also tends to build animosity between siblings as well. Because it's like, oh, you never understand what I had to go through. And it's like, especially when the younger siblings start to see their parents blame the older ones, it's like, naturally, if something goes wrong, they'll blame the older ones too, because that's what they've seen their parents do. So I feel like in all, it just messes up the dynamics between siblings, between the whole family. If the parents are not being responsible enough, financially, emotionally, physically responsible, taking up their responsibilities in the household and trying to pass it on to their younger siblings, is so unfair, and it's not done.
Because these younger siblings keep going, they think you're fine, they assume it's fine. You're not fine, no. Please check on the younger siblings.
Literally, like, it's so, it doesn't make sense at all. And I feel like it really is up to their parents. I understand, like, people, or single mothers having their own issues and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, you should be focusing on finding a community, like maybe a friend that can help you look after your kids, or other single mothers that you can look after each other's kids when you're unavailable or whatnot. Like, it should not always, yeah, you should have a life as well, and your kids should have their own childhood and their upbringing to themselves. So yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say on that topic. Ashake's dad, I heard it was because he was sick. Me personally, if you are sick, you're not thinking about 50 million. You're just thinking about getting better. If he was asking for money for the operation or treatment, fair enough. I need help. Help me. But 50 million to build house. What were you doing in the 60 years of your life that you did not build house for yourself? What were you doing? Because you had time to marry a second wife. Exactly. You had time to marry a second wife, to have more children. But you did not think to use the money to build house that you can be collecting rents. Now that you're saying that you're sick, you're trying to use emotional blackmail.
That's why they keep having more children as a retirement plan.
Yes, a lot of them actually think their kids are retirement plans or insurance policies.
More kids.
At least one of them will make it.
Yeah.
And then the more kids they have, whichever one that makes it will never go far, because they have the other siblings dragging them down. Yeah, I just feel like if you can't take care of kids, I feel like that's probably why the birth rate is declining, because people can actually see. I think I commend our generation for seeing how expensive childcare is and being more sensible about having children. I mean, it's still unfortunate that there's a lot of baby mama situations, but at least the birth rate is declining as the economy is declining. If the economy should start booming again, you should have as many children as you like. But we can see that the economy is not smiling in whatever country that it is. So I think it's really, I'm glad that a lot of people are actually taking more consideration into childbearing and like understanding the needs of being a parent, or like the responsibilities that comes with being a parent. It's not an easy feat. I'm not looking to have children anytime soon.
My baby fever is attached with my wedding fever.
Thank you.
Like this.
For real. Like, if I don't have like a 2-income household, even me personally, like, I don't care how much my husband's making. I need to be making small money. I need to be making. I don't care if I'm working part-time. I cannot be out of the job market, regardless of however much money that my partner is making. It's not even about trust, because a lot of people say, oh, 50-50. I mean, I don't want to do any kind of 50-50. But at the same time, I still want to make my own money. It's not because I don't trust my partner to take care of me or anything like that.
Anything can happen.
Literally, death, loss of employment, COVID happened. A lot of people actually lost their jobs. So me personally, I feel like if you're in a relationship, whether or not your partner can actually take care of all the financial responsibilities, like, and maybe whether or not they even have insurance policies, I feel like you should still have some sort of income. You should still have a way to take care of yourself. If they have money in the millions and the billions, okay, I understand. I'm not millionaire or £1,000,000. If they have money like that, I get it. It makes sense that you wouldn't want to get another job. But I feel like unless you've gone to that point where, you have an estate, you have wealth, not just money. Like you're completely secure till the day you die, till the day your kids have trust fund. I'm not going out of a job. I'm sorry. I'm not. And as with the trust fund, there has to be what's that thing called? Prenuptial agreement that states clearly how much I get, whatever happens, because you know that men are mad. You know, you can trust them, but not completely. Just a little bit. Just leave a little bit to the side. So I feel like, as much as I say that, I still think it's not even about trust. I feel like, God forbid, my partner is incapacitated for whatever reason. God forbid, death, whatever reason. I cannot have my kids look at me and not be able to like ask for things that they need to survive in this life. I cannot have them look to me to provide for something for them. I'm like, oh, well, because your daddy's not here, I cannot afford to. No, 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 no. I have to make money. My kids have to be well taken care of. Even if my money is just for savings and investments, fine. Even if it's for holidays, fine. As long as I'm still making money, I'm still useful, and like I can make enough money to look after my kids regardless of whether or not anything happens to their father. I think it's just a good safety measure to have for yeah. And I feel like that's why I chose to work from home as well, because it's like amen, amen, amen. That's why I chose to work from home, because I guess I get the whole idea of like making money and not having time for your children. So I feel like I've always wanted to work from home as well, because it's part of the reasons. Because it's like when I do have kids, I still want to be able to be present with them to an extent. But yeah, that's our supplication to God. Accept our supplication. Amen. And I pray for you guys as well to be financially independent and, you know, financial success for everybody else. That's the end of the episode. Bami Sora, signing out, your host, Odoayo. Follow us, like, share, comment, all of that stuff. Yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye.